Hey now, Deadheads, we are back once again, this time finally with Dick's Picks Volume 4, the new released version from Real Gone Records. Now, this is a little bit different from the Brookvale release that came out, I believe that was about 10 years ago. That was not sourced from the CD Master. There's rumors going around, I believe it was Dick's Picks 1, 2, and 3 from Brookvale were sourced from the CD Masters. Their version of Dick's Picks Volume 4 wasn't, as this one wasn't either, but this is in fact a new transfer from the tape. Jeffrey Norman did a new transfer from the tape for this Dick's Picks Volume 4 release that just came out about a month ago, and boy is it fantastic. Before I can share with you, my thoughts on the sound and the whole package, let me show you what's inside this box set. Now, looking at the front, we have that Ampex style tape box that was the first 6 Dick's Picks releases had this style, had this motif. And to me, this is the classic of Dick's Picks. Before they got into the fractals and magic carpets, this to me is what I think of when I think of Dick's Picks. Opening things up, we've got some liner notes, some short but sweet liner notes from Bear, who recorded this release from the Dick's Picks series. And then flipping things over, we've got the track listing, the credits, and as you can see, this is the tail end of that first phase of Two Drummer Dead, before Mickey Hart went on hiatus. Taking a look at the records, I did not have to put these into MoFi style inner sleeves because they came with some really great inner sleeves. That mark of high quality from Gotta Groove Records, who pressed this release, and they do a fantastic job every time. As you can see, it's a pretty clean release. And flipping things over to the back, you can see the track listing as well as the caveat emptor here. Album is newly remastered for vinyl from the original tapes by Jeffrey Norman. And this is a limited edition of 3500. I have number 1103 out of 3500. And that is what's inside this box set for Dick's Picks Volume 4. Pretty short, pretty sweet, but I think the music on this really speaks for itself. They didn't bypass the liner notes. It is a faithful reproduction of the original CD liner notes. It does what it needs to do. There's no engraving on that blank 12th side of this on the back of record 6. Again, a straightforward, straight to the point package, and a beautiful package. They did a fantastic job. And I think this is the best version of my favorite Dick's Picks release, and I'm so glad that Real Gone has been going back and they've done 1, 2, and 3, and now finally 4, re-releasing a new transfer, a new tape transfer vinyl version of these classic Dick's Picks releases. And boy, oh boy, does this sound fantastic. It's, all the way from the beginning, the intro by Zach Earl, great China Rider, great Love Light, great Other One. But really the standout on here for me is the Dark Star, as well as the Alligator. It's a rare Alligator from the Grateful Dead. They gave up on playing it around 1970, kind of the tail end of playing Alligator. I believe this one has that great line from Bobby where he sings, "Burn down the Fillmore, torch the Avalon." You got to listen closely for that, but it's a really great nod. They were starting up their own club in San Francisco, and I think Bobby was feeling a little competitive against the other clubs where they routinely played both before and after 1970. They had that little point of pride, that little moment where they were a little anti-Avalon, anti-Fillmore. Truly fantastic release. It has all the hits, a killer Dancing in the Streets, but Other One, Love Light, Dark Star, Alligator, aside for feedback, and then ending things off with And We Bid You Good Night. And that to me is so classic. Of course, the Grateful Dead movie soundtrack is really well known for its We Bid You Good Night, but that was an earlier, more primal Dead thing to do before they incorporated that jam into other songs. And I love to sing along to. It's an old, I believe, Caribbean spiritual, We Bid You Good Night, and it's just so good, easy to sing along with. But such a clean, fantastic sounding release. They really knocked it out of the park. Real Gone consistently does such a good job, and it leaves me wondering what the next Real Gone Dick's Picks release is going to be. They've, over the past couple years, have been doing 2 releases per year instead of 1. They've been doing one net new one, a new Dick's Picks release, some vinyl that we'd never heard before from the Dick's Picks series, as well as a re-release of one of those classic Brookvale releases. Of course, I would love to see a re-release of Dick's Picks Volume 8. I know that's another fan favorite, but I'm really curious what the next net new Dick's Picks release on vinyl is going to be. Really excited to see what they've got cooking up in their labs over at Real Gone Music. But I want to give a big shout out to Real Gone. They've knocked it out of the park. As we've seen lately, not everyone can do that. The official Grateful Dead Productions releases from that Dead.net store have been consistently really good, but this really sets that high watermark. Real Gone consistently sets that high watermark of how good Grateful Dead on vinyl can sound. And so I'm grateful for that. I am so grateful that there's folks out there who love the Grateful Dead so much that they're willing to put the work in and put out such consistently great releases. So this is a short but sweet one. I just can't sing the praises enough. I'm shocked that this is, I think, still in stock from the Real Gone store. I would highly recommend this release to everyone, whether you're a new Deadhead or a seasoned Deadhead. I think Dick's Picks Volume 4, 1970 Prime Pigpen, is really the cornerstone of any Grateful Dead listening experience, and should be in everyone's record collection. So I'm going to give this one a big recommend to everyone who's watching today. But thank you for joining me. That's it. Like I said, short and sweet. I really appreciate you watching. Peace.